Where was the world's first ever presentation? Well, the presentation had Jack and Jill, two people, and they were getting ready to share an idea. And the room in front of them was filling up with people. They were a little bit nervous because they were about to share a presentation. They'd worked hard, they had prepared, and now was the moment to connect with their audience. So Jill stepped forward. She looked at Jack, smiled, took a deep breath, said to her audience, "The seasons are changing. We have finished the summer and we are coming into the autumn. Soon the snow will be here." Then Jill stepped back and Jack stepped forward and he looked into the audience and he said with some drama, "And the food is almost empty. We have almost no food for the coming winter." Now, this presentation happened 65,000 years ago when we weren't English and we weren't Chinese. We were people surviving as tribes all over the world in different continents. Small groups of people had gathered together and they were hunting, surviving. They were small communities. And I think that the images that we see on the walls of caves are the world's first ever presentation slides. They were not slides like we have today in PPT, Canva, Keynote, Baidu Cloud, Google Slides, but they were images created on the wall of a cave. But the goal of these images was exactly the same as the image that you are looking at right now. The image is to help connect you to my message. So as you can see here, Jack and Jill are standing in front of their presentation and they are explaining how the animals will be moving through the mountain range, close to the river. It's narrow. And this is the time when the tribe can strike, hunt, and have enough to refill their supplies for the coming winter. Fuel, fur, energy. So we have been telling stories since forever. It is how people communicate. We use images to say this is the creature that we need to hunt because it has fur, it has meat, it has bones, it has fat, all the resources that we can use. And if we work together as a tribe, as a community, then we can succeed. If I try to hunt this animal by myself, I will fail. But if we are all on the same page and you know your job and I know my job, then we will succeed. And the idea was good. And the presentation was good. And the community went out together. They hunted. They were successful. And they survived another winter. Now, I don't know if this story is true, but it's the story I tell myself and I tell lots of other professionals because I want you to know that we have been telling stories and presenting to each other forever. Now, what these people did is exactly what we do today. So the first presentation started in a cave where it was dark and warm and safe. There was no rain. There were no wild animals. This was the world's first ever meeting room. Now we present 2019, we presented like this in a co-working space, in a WeWork, in an office. And we presented our ideas, but we didn't use a cave wall. We used slides and photographs and computers. Sometimes we present like this: the leader in a meeting room with her tribe of people, that together we will be successful, that together we'll be able to know what I have to do, know what she has to do. We'll be able to ask questions. We'll be able to solve problems. We'll be able to delegate to the different team members about what we need to do. And now this is what we're doing. We're using our computers. And today we have, how many people here today? 14 people have joined. We're not in a cave. We're not in a meeting room. We're on a digital online meeting. So stories is in our DNA. We all know how to listen to a story, and we all know how to share a story. But as we get older, we kind of forget. It's a bit like, as we get older, we forget that we can draw. And as we get older, we forget that we can play, because being an adult is stressful. And sometimes we feel we don't have time for play and drawing and storytelling. But if we remember how powerful they are, then we can actually be super effective. So, yes, sometimes we meet in person in our modern day 2022 cave is now a meeting room, in a hotel, in a cafe, in a conference center, in a co-working space. But we also have to meet online, just like we are right now. And this is where we come together to tell stories. So the tool is changing all the time. But why we need to tell stories will always be the same. And we're going to talk about that today. So that is how I see it. That is how I share the value of telling stories, because we know that it works, because we haven't got to this point in our history of the world without telling an amazing story to inspire other people.